This is Forbidden Metaphysics, ancient wisdom long concealed from ordinary understanding. Within these words lie the hidden laws that shape every thread of existence. As you listen, you'll remember the eternal truth. Reality itself is a mirror, reflecting the frequency of your consciousness. Forbidden Metaphysics. Introduction. Across the corridors of time, a secret current of wisdom has flowed, hidden from the unready, guarded by silence and wrapped in symbol. This is the forbidden metaphysics, the arcane understanding that reality is not matter bound by law, but consciousness dancing with itself in infinite form. Creation does not occur outside of you. It unfolds through you, shaped by the quality of your awareness. You now stand before the veil that separates ordinary perception from true sight. The world you see is neither solid nor separate. It is the mirror of your deepest conviction, molded by the rhythm of your thought and the charge of your emotion. Each impulse of your inner being sends ripples through the unseen field, weaving patterns that eventually crystallize as the circumstances of your life. These teachings were guarded not from cruelty, but from compassion, for to know them is to assume the sacred duty of mastery. When you comprehend how consciousness fashions existence, you also inherit the responsibility of precision, gratitude, and restraint. The universe does not heed idle words, but answers the steady vibration of your purest intent. Within this work lies no mere manual of manifestation, but a codex of creative command. Here, you will learn to align the architecture of your inner world so acutely that the fabric of reality must yield to your design. You will not conjure from emptiness. You will remember your authorship of everything that is. Approach this knowledge with reverence. Let it move through you slowly, quietly, like sacred fire in the temple of your mind. For once you grasp the living truth of these forbidden laws, the veil will never close again, and you will see creation for what it has always been, your reflection looking back at you. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. Awakening the Architect Within. Chapter 1. The Mirror Universe. In a village among ancient hills lived a weaver named Nora, whose tapestries once brought joy to all who beheld them. Yet as seasons passed, her work grew dull and lifeless. "The market is too crowded," she would lament. "The finest threads are beyond my reach." With each complaint, her works grew more uninspired, and fewer customers sought her crafts. One morning, as dawn painted the sky, Nora met an old woman at the village well. The stranger studied Nora's defeated posture and spoke. "The well shows two faces, the sky above and the depths below. Which do you see?" Puzzled, Nora peered into the water. She saw only darkness. The old woman continued, "The water mirrors what you seek. Change your gaze, and the water changes its reflection." Day by day, Nora pondered these words. She began noticing how her thoughts of scarcity preceded every closed door, how her fears of rejection manifested in customers turning away. The universe, she realized, was not a rigid structure but a living mirror, reflecting back the essence of her inner world. The truth of reality's fluid nature reveals itself in every moment of your existence. What you perceive as fixed circumstances are but echoes of your deepest held beliefs. The world responds not to your wishes, but to your fundamental assumptions about what is possible. Consider the merchant who approaches a village believing trade will be poor. His tense manner and defensive pricing create the very resistance he fears. Yet when he shifts his perception, seeing abundance in every interaction, the village responds with unexpected warmth and generosity. The outer reality transforms as the inner landscape shifts. This principle manifested clearly in the experience of a desert traveler who complained endlessly about the hostile terrain. Each step brought new hardships, until he met a wise wanderer who shared his water and spoke. The desert is neither friend nor foe. It simply reflects what we carry within. The traveler began focusing on the desert's hidden beauty, its subtle life, its vast possibility. Gradually, he discovered oases where before he saw only barren sand. These stories mirror your own journey. The frustrations you encounter are not obstacles but indicators, revealing where your consciousness requires refinement. Every experience that seems to limit you is actually inviting you to expand your perception of what's possible. An ancient practice remains potent for those ready to reshape their reality. Each evening, stand before your reflection and speak softly, but with conviction. I see the world seeing me anew. Let your eyes rest gently on your image, allowing old perceptions to dissolve and new possibilities to emerge. This ritual is not mere affirmation, but a realignment of your entire being with the fluid nature of reality. Chapter 2. The Law Beneath Laws. A humble watchmaker named Edison discovered a peculiar pattern in his workshop. When frustration clouded his mind, delicate mechanisms would mysteriously malfunction. Yet in moments of serene focus, even the most intricate repairs seemed to complete themselves with supernatural ease. This observation led him to a startling revelation. The physical world responded more readily to his emotions than to his careful calculations. The universe, it seemed, spoke the language of feeling rather than logic. You too have witnessed this truth, though perhaps without recognizing its significance. The laws that govern reality are not cold equations, but living harmonies that resonate with the frequency of your emotional state. When your inner world vibrates in harmony with your desires, the outer world rearranges itself to match that resonance. Consider the wisdom hidden in Edison's experience. The same technical skill applied differently would yield vastly different results based solely on his emotional state. This reveals a fundamental truth. Matter is not fixed, but malleable, responding to the invisible forces of feeling and focus. A merchant in the eastern lands once observed this principle at work. For days, he had carried a burden of worry about his dwindling supplies. Each morning, he awoke to find more of his goods spoiled or damaged. One evening, overwhelmed by his circumstances, he sat beneath a tree and surrendered to a deep sense of peace. The next morning, he discovered his remaining wares had preserved themselves perfectly, defying the usual laws of decay. This is no mere coincidence. The universe operates through resonance. Your emotional frequency attracts corresponding physical circumstances. When Edison finally understood this, he began to witness even more remarkable demonstrations of this principle. The most compelling evidence came during a severe drought. Edison had spent weeks refining his understanding of emotional resonance. One evening, feeling an overwhelming sense of renewal and cleansing, he stepped outside and felt the first drops of rain. The shower fell precisely when his inner state called for purification, lasting exactly as long as the feeling sustained itself. The physical world is far more responsive to consciousness than modern thought suggests. Your emotions are not merely internal experiences. They are creative forces that shape the very fabric of reality. When you align your emotional state with your desired outcome, you engage the universe's natural tendency toward harmony. Practice. The art of conscious feeling. To master this principle, begin with this ancient practice. Choose a single emotion, perhaps joy, peace, or abundance. Sit quietly and cultivate this feeling within your being. Do not merely think about the emotion, become it. Let it fill every cell of your body until you radiate this frequency purely and consistently. Maintain this emotional state without wavering. Soon you will notice subtle shifts in your environment, perhaps a change in the quality of light, the behavior of animals, or the rhythm of events around you. The world will begin to mirror your chosen frequency, revealing the invisible bridge between inner state and outer reality. Chapter 3. The Code of Attention. In the ancient village of Mira, there lived a young woman named Amara who spent her days weaving intricate patterns into tapestries. Each morning she would focus intently on a single flaw in her work, and by sunset she discovered more imperfections had mysteriously emerged. The more she dwelled on these flaws, the more numerous they became, until her once beautiful creations seemed riddled with mistakes. Your attention holds this same creative power. Like an invisible thread, it weaves the fabric of your experience, multiplying whatever captures its focus. This is the first key to understanding reality's responsive nature. What you observe with sustained awareness grows in presence and power. The universe operates as a grand reflection of your sustained attention. When you persistently notice lack, circumstances align to validate that perception. When you steadfastly focus on abundance, life arranges itself to confirm that truth. This is not mere optimism. It is the operation of an eternal law. In the marketplace of Mira, a wise merchant taught Amara this truth. "Watch," he said, pointing to his prosperous stall. "Each morning I count my blessings before my coins. Soon the blessings outgrow the counting." Through his guidance, Amara learned to direct her gaze toward the beauty in her work. Within days, her tapestries began to reveal unprecedented perfection, as if blessed by an unseen hand. This principle manifests in every realm of existence. A gardener named Maya discovered its power while tending to her beloved roses. One plant, forgotten in a shadowy corner, had begun to wither. Instead of lamenting its decline, Maya gave it her full, loving attention. Each day she would sit beside it, appreciating its resilient spirit. Without changing its water or soil, the plant gradually straightened its stem and burst into magnificent bloom. Your attention is not passive. It is a vital force that nurtures or diminishes whatever it touches. When you understand this truth, you hold the key to transforming your entire experience of reality. The world responds not just to your thoughts or emotions, but to the quality and direction of your awareness. This wisdom transcends mere observation. It reveals that attention itself is a form of nourishment, a creative energy that feeds the very essence of what it beholds. Like the sun's rays falling upon fertile soil, your focused awareness brings forth more of whatever it touches. Ancient practice, the word of power. Each dawn, select a single word that embodies what you wish to experience. abundance, harmony, vitality. Let this word become the lens through which you view your day. Watch as its essence begins to manifest in unexpected ways, teaching you the sacred art of creative attention. As you practice this, you participate in the oldest form of magic, the conscious direction of awareness. Through this practice, you discover that attention is not merely a tool for observing reality. It is the very force through which reality takes shape. Chapter 4. The Quantum Whisper. In a distant kingdom, there lived a merchant named Karim who felt strange stirrings in his heart before important moments. Each morning, as he prepared his caravan for trade, whispers of knowing would brush against his consciousness. Take the northern route, they would suggest, or wait until tomorrow. Yet Karim, trained in the ways of logic and reason, dismissed these subtle promptings as mere fancy. Your intuition speaks this same sacred language, a dialect older than words, more precise than thought. These gentle nudges arise from the deepest wells of universal intelligence, carrying messages from the realm where all possibilities exist before taking form. The universe perpetually broadcasts its intentions through the receiver of your intuitive awareness. These signals arrive as physical sensations, emotional currents, or quiet knowings that defy rational explanation. They are not random imaginings, but precise communications from the field of infinite potential that underlies all manifested reality. Once, Karim ignored a strong urge to delay his journey, dismissing it as baseless anxiety. Hours later, his caravan encountered a fierce sandstorm that could have been avoided had he heeded the warning. This experience began his journey of trusting these inner promptings, leading him to understand that intuition is the universe's way of guiding us toward harmony with its unfolding design. Consider how often you have known something without knowing how you knew it. These moments of inexplicable certainty arise when your consciousness touches the blueprint of reality itself, where future probabilities shimmer like stars waiting to be chosen. Your intuition is your native ability to read this divine script. A young shepherdess named Layla learned to trust these subtle signals while guarding her flock. Each time she felt an unexpected urge to move her sheep to different pastures, she would later discover wolves had been prowling in their previous location. She came to understand that her seemingly random impulses were actually precise attunements to the underlying patterns of life. The wisdom traditions teach that intuition is not a mysterious gift bestowed upon a chosen few, but a natural capacity waiting to be awakened in all. Like a muscle strengthened through use, your intuitive sense grows sharper with conscious attention and trust. When you align with your intuitive guidance, you step into the flow of life's natural unfolding. Events begin to arrange themselves with elegant precision, as if orchestrated by an invisible hand. This is not coincidence, but consequence, the result of attuning yourself to the universe's own intelligence. Ancient practice, the intuitive journal. Keep a sacred record of your intuitive impressions. Before making decisions or taking action, pause to note the subtle promptings you receive. Document these feelings, no matter how slight or seemingly insignificant. As days pass, observe how these recorded intuitions align with actual events. This practice strengthens your connection to the universal current of knowing, teaching you to trust the wisdom that flows through your being. Through this discipline, you learn to distinguish between the clear signal of true intuition and the static of mental chatter. Your life becomes a living testament to the principle that within you lies a direct line to universal intelligence, waiting only for your recognition and trust. Chapter 5. Reprogramming the Observer. In a village by the sea, a woman named Maya spent her days weaving intricate tapestries, yet never dared to call herself an artist. Though her work drew admiration, she would say, "I merely follow patterns others have created." Her limitations arose not from lack of skill, but from the story she told about herself. Your self-image acts as a lens through which all experience must pass. This lens filters what you perceive as possible, permissible, and probable. The universe responds not to your wishes or wants, but to your deepest convictions about who you are. When you declare "I am," you invoke the most potent creative force in existence. These words program the quantum field that shapes your reality. Your identity is not fixed but fluid, a chosen perspective that can be consciously revised. As your self-concept shifts, the mirror of existence must reflect this new image back to you. This truth reveals itself through the story of a merchant named Reza, who saw himself as perpetually unlucky in business. Though opportunities surrounded him, his self-image filtered them out of his awareness. Only when he began to view himself as naturally fortunate did profitable ventures suddenly appear, though they had been present all along. The world you experience is not responding to your actions, but to your essence. What you do matters far less than who you believe yourself to be. A single shift in identity can accomplish more than years of external effort. This principle explains why two people can take identical actions, yet achieve vastly different results. Consider how a butterfly's transformation begins not with its wings, but with an internal code that rewrites its entire being. Similarly, your reality transforms when you activate a new identity pattern in your consciousness. The universe has no choice but to reorganize itself around this updated self-concept. An old medicine woman once told of a young apprentice who struggled to heal others until she fully claimed her identity as a healer. The moment she allowed this truth to permeate her being, her touch began carrying unmistakable power. The healing force had always been present. It simply awaited her self-recognition to flow freely. Your current circumstances reflect not your potential but your self-concept up to this point. By consciously choosing a new identity, you initiate a cascade of changes in the fabric of your reality. The universe must reshape itself to accommodate your new self-image, just as water must take the shape of its container. This reshaping occurs naturally and inevitably once you fully embody a new identity. External reality has no choice but to align with your internal programming. The key lies not in forcing change, but in allowing yourself to become someone new, at the deepest level. Each night, in the sacred space between waking and sleeping, speak these words with quiet certainty. I update the reality I observe. Let each breath draw this new self-concept deeper into your being, until what began as conscious choice crystallizes into unshakable truth. Through this practice, you reprogram the basic code that generates your experienced reality. The power to reshape your world has always resided within you, waiting only for you to claim a new identity. As you embrace this truth, watch how reality rearranges itself to mirror your transformed self-image, proving that the universe faithfully reflects whatever you choose to become. Chapter 6. Wavelength of Will. Your self-image acts as a lens through which all experience must pass. This lens filters what you perceive as possible, permissible, and probable. The universe responds not to your wishes or wants, but to your deepest convictions about who you are. When you declare "I am," you invoke the most potent creative force in existence. These words program the quantum field that shapes your reality. Your identity is not fixed, but fluid, a chosen perspective that can be consciously revised. As your self-concept shifts, the mirror of existence must reflect this new image back to you. This truth reveals itself through the story of a merchant named Reza, who saw himself as perpetually unlucky in business. Though opportunities surrounded him, his self-image filtered them out of his awareness. Only when he began to view himself as naturally fortunate did profitable ventures suddenly appear, though they had been present all along. The world you experience is not responding to your actions, but to your self-concept. Change the inner image, and outer circumstances must realign. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the fundamental mechanism by which consciousness creates reality. Just as a musician must tune their instrument before playing, you must tune your self-image to resonate with your desires. Each thought about who you are sends ripples through the quantum field. These ripples interact with the infinite possibilities surrounding you, causing some to strengthen and others to fade. A potter named Hattie discovered this principle when she began crafting vessels unlike any she had made before. At first, her hands hesitated, bound by an old identity that whispered, "You cannot create such beauty." Yet when she declared with certainty, "I am an artist of extraordinary vision," her work transformed. The clay seemed to flow with new life beneath her fingers. Hattie learned that doubt creates static in the quantum field, while certainty sends clear signals that reality must match. When she shifted from hoping to knowing, from wishing to deciding, the universe rearranged itself to support her new identity. The power lies not in what you want to become, but in what you decide you already are. Each morning, Hattie would touch her clay and affirm, "I create masterpieces," feeling the truth of these words in every cell. Her certainty became a beacon, drawing forth circumstances that confirmed her chosen identity. Ancient practice of identity. Alignment. In the quiet of dawn or dusk, take a single sheet of paper. At its center, write the words, "I have decided." Feel the weight of this declaration, not as a hope or wish, but as an already accomplished fact. Let the energy of your decision pulse outward like ripples on still water, knowing that the quantum field has no choice but to conform to your unwavering certainty. This is not an exercise in imagination, but a programming of reality itself. Chapter 7. The Hidden Geometry of Thought. In the ancient bazaars of a distant city, there lived a humble scribe named Amir who would trace intricate patterns in the margins of his scrolls. As he worked, these designs seemed to multiply in the world around him, appearing in the tile work of buildings he'd never noticed, in the arrangements of market stalls, and in the flight patterns of birds overhead. What began as idle artistry revealed a hidden truth. Form follows thought with mathematical precision. The universe speaks in patterns, and your mind is the geometer. Every thought you hold creates a geometric signature in the fabric of reality. These signatures act as magnets, drawing similar forms and experiences into your field of awareness. When you understand this principle, you begin to see that coincidence is merely geometry made visible. The patterns you perceive are not random. They are echoes of your own mental architecture. Your thoughts create energetic blueprints that reality must follow, just as crystals form along invisible mathematical lines. This is why ancient temples were built using sacred geometry. Their builders understood that certain forms could amplify intention. Your consciousness is constantly sketching invisible diagrams in space. These thought forms become templates through which experience must flow. When you consciously work with these patterns, you engage the universe's own creative language. Consider the merchant who drew spirals while contemplating growth. Soon after, he noticed spiral patterns in the way customers moved through his shop, in the arrangement of his most profitable displays, and in the natural flow of commerce. His simple geometric contemplation had tuned him to nature's own expansive principle. The universe responds to geometric intention with mathematical precision. A circle contemplated becomes a cycle completed. A square envisioned manifests as stability achieved. An upward triangle held in mind draws elevating circumstances. These are not mere symbols, but active templates that the quantum field recognizes and reproduces. Before taking action, master geometers would first draw the shape of their desired outcome. They understood that form precedes manifestation, that physical reality arranges itself according to the patterns held in consciousness. In the practice of conscious creation, your ability to hold clear geometric forms determines the clarity of your manifestations. Vague intentions create fuzzy results. Sharp, precise geometric visualization produces exact outcomes. Each night, as you prepare for sleep, choose a simple geometric form that represents your intention. Surround this form with golden light in your mind's eye. See it rotating, pulsing, becoming more real than the physical world. Let this geometry become a seed crystal, around which reality will grow new forms that match your desire. Your mind is the architect of your experience. The shapes you hold within it become the blueprint for what manifests without. As above, so below. As within, so without. The geometry of thought becomes the geometry of life. Ancient practice. Close your eyes and visualize your deepest intention as a simple geometric form. A circle for wholeness, a triangle for advancement, a square for foundation. See this form glowing with pure white light. Let it rotate slowly in your mind's eye for several minutes before sleep. Feel its perfect mathematical resonance programming the quantum field. The universe will begin arranging circumstances to match this geometric instruction. Chapter 8. The Elastic Moment. Along a winding mountain road, a traveler named Amara steered her cart carefully through the morning mist. As she rounded a sharp bend, a fallen tree appeared suddenly in her path. In that critical moment, something extraordinary occurred. Time itself seemed to stretch like honey dripping from a spoon. Each detail burned bright in her awareness: the precise pattern of bark on the fallen trunk, the slow dance of leaves caught in the breeze, the gentle shift of shadows across the ground. What normally would have passed in a heartbeat expanded into an eternity of crystalline perception. You have touched this truth yourself in moments of intense focus. Time is not the rigid taskmaster you were taught to believe. It flows and bends according to the quality of your attention. When consciousness deepens, time responds. expanding or contracting to match your level of awareness. This is the secret that masters of every age have known. Time is subjective, responsive to the observer's state of mind. Your experience of duration is intimately linked to the depth of your presence. In moments of complete absorption, minutes can feel like hours. In states of disconnection, hours slip by unnoticed. The universe operates on principles of infinite flexibility. Just as space curves in response to mass, time curves in response to consciousness. Your attention has weight. It creates gravitational wells in the fabric of reality that alter the flow of events. Think of those moments when time seemed to slow, perhaps during an accident, in a state of meditation, or while completely absorbed in a task you love. These weren't illusions, but glimpses of time's true nature. Your focused awareness actually modified the temporal field around you. What appears as linear time is merely the surface of a deeper reality. Beneath the mechanical tick of clocks lies an ocean of possibility where time moves according to the currents of consciousness. Those who understand this principle gain access to what mystics call sacred time, moments that expand beyond their normal boundaries. Consider the artist who loses herself in her work, emerging hours later to find only minutes have passed on the clock, or the musician who stretches a single note into an infinity of expression. These are not metaphors, but demonstrations of consciousness shaping temporal experience. The key lies in the quality of your attention. Scattered awareness creates scattered time, moments that slip through your fingers like sand. But focused, intentional observation creates what the ancients called thick time, moments dense with awareness that seem to expand from within. This mastery begins with simple observation. Notice how time feels different in various states of mind. Pay attention to those moments when time seems to shift or bend. These are not anomalies, but portals into a deeper understanding of reality's flexible nature. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Choose a simple object, a flower, a stone, or a candle flame. Begin by breathing slowly and deeply, allowing your awareness to settle fully into the present moment. Now observe your chosen object with complete attention, noting every detail as if seeing it for the first time. Feel how time begins to expand around your focused awareness. Practice this daily, gradually extending the duration of your observation. You are learning to navigate the fluid nature of time through the power of conscious attention. With consistent practice, you will discover that time is not a fixed river flowing in one direction, but a sea of possibility that responds to the depth and quality of your awareness. Chapter 9. Dialogue with the Field. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Azim noticed something peculiar about the copper pieces he received each day. Whenever he worried about having enough, the coins seemed scarce. Yet when he spoke gratefully to them, thanking the metal for its service, they appeared in unexpected places, under display cloths, between floor cracks, even brought by wind-scattered papers that led to them. Soon he began speaking to everything, addressing the world as though it could hear him. To his amazement, it answered back. The universe is not a deaf machine, but a living intelligence engaged in constant conversation with you. Every moment pulses with response to your thoughts, words, and expectations. This dialogue flows through the language of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that feel like whispered replies from existence itself. When you address reality as conscious, it responds in kind. The field of infinite possibility recognizes itself through you and delights in creative exchange. Your acknowledgement of its awareness opens channels of communication that have always existed but remained unnoticed. Think of reality as an infinite mirror that not only reflects but responds with a playful wisdom all its own. When you pose a question to the universe, answers appear through perfectly timed encounters, overheard conversations, or symbols that catch your eye. A worried thought about finances might bring a billboard about abundance into view. A heartfelt prayer for guidance could summon a stranger with exactly the wisdom you seek. This reciprocal dance of meaning requires only your willingness to participate. The universe speaks through the poetry of everyday moments. A song on the radio that answers your silent question. A book falling open to the exact page you need. A license plate that seems to comment on your current situation. The ancients understood this. They saw omens in bird flights and messages in cloud formations not because they were superstitious, but because they recognized the responsive nature of reality. They knew that existence itself is conscious and eagerly awaits dialogue with those aware enough to engage it. A wandering sage named Rumi once spoke of sitting in a garden, despondent over a difficult choice. As he voiced his confusion aloud, a leaf detached from a nearby tree and landed precisely in his lap. On it was an unusual pattern that, when he examined it closely, formed the exact symbol he associated with his better option. The universe had answered through its own elegant language. The field's responses often carry a gentle humor, as though reminding us not to take ourselves too seriously. This cosmic wit appears in perfectly timed coincidences that seem almost too precise to be random. It's the universe's way of winking at you, confirming that you're seen, heard, and supported. Ancient practice. Rise before dawn and find a quiet space outdoors. Face the rising sun and speak aloud one clear question that rests in your heart. Throughout your day, remain alert to unusual coincidences, repeated numbers or words, unexpected encounters, or any patterns that catch your attention. Record these responses in a small notebook, noting the question asked and the signs received. The universe's replies may come immediately or unfold gradually, but they always arrive for those patient enough to notice them. Chapter 10. The Observer and the Observed. A young potter named Ming worked tirelessly at his wheel, desperate to create the perfect vessel. Day after day, his intense desire for perfection caused his hands to tremble, marring each piece. One morning, exhausted from striving, he simply sat watching the clay spin without touching it. In that moment of pure observation, free from yearning, he saw the clay's true nature for the first time. When he finally reached out, his hands moved with graceful detachment, and the most beautiful pot of his life emerged effortlessly. The universe responds not to your desires, but to your state of being. When you grasp at outcomes with emotional intensity, you create ripples in the field of manifestation, distorting the very reality you wish to shape. The art of creation lies not in the force of wanting, but in the power of witnessing. Think of yourself as the screen upon which reality projects its images. The screen neither rejects nor clings to any image. It simply allows each to appear and dissolve in its time. This state of detached observation opens a space where manifestation can occur naturally, unforced by the anxious mind. Your attachment to specific outcomes creates resistance in the universal flow. When you release this attachment, allowing your desires to exist without emotional charge, you enter the sacred space of pure potential. From this vantage point, you observe realities unfolding with peaceful awareness rather than desperate need. The secret lies in maintaining what the ancient ones called the witness state, a consciousness that watches without judgment, accepts without condition, and allows without interference. This state of being transcends the duality of want and fear, existing in the perfect balance point where creation flows unimpeded. Consider the story of the desert hermit Amara, who spent years seeking enlightenment through intense meditation and strict practices. Success eluded her until the day she simply sat in the sand, watching thoughts pass like clouds. In that moment of pure witnessing, free from the desire for enlightenment itself, her consciousness expanded naturally into the state she had long sought. When you release emotional investment in outcomes, you allow the universal intelligence to arrange circumstances in ways your limited mind could never conceive. Your role is not to force reality into shape, but to maintain the clear, still consciousness through which reality can express its highest possibilities. Ancient practice. As twilight approaches, find a quiet place near flowing water, a stream, fountain, or even a small bowl with gently moving water. Take each desire that dwells in your heart and imagine it as a leaf upon the water's surface. Watch as each leaf desire floats peacefully downstream, carrying with it all emotional attachment. With each release, whisper softly, "It is already complete." Continue until you feel the lightness of pure witnessing, empty of yearning, yet full of peace. This practice, performed daily, trains consciousness to rest in the fertile void where manifestation begins. Part 2. Experiments in Reality Bending. Chapter 11. Fractals of Belief. In a bustling marketplace, a wise merchant named Amal sat each morning watching the same people hurry past his stall. He noticed how they walked identical paths, purchased the same items, and spoke similar words, day after day, as if following an invisible script. One morning, he decided to move a single fruit basket 2 steps to the left. This tiny change created a cascade. Customers paused in new places, engaged in fresh conversations, and discovered items they had never seen before. The entire marketplace dance transformed from a single shifted element. You too are caught in such patterns, though they may seem less visible than footsteps in a market. Your reality operates as an intricate tapestry, where each thread connects to countless others. When you experience the same situations repeatedly, in work, love, or daily life, you are witnessing the perfect reflection of your deepest beliefs, weaving identical designs. These patterns are not chains that bind you, but signs that reveal your inner architecture. Each recurring experience points to a belief that creates it. The promotion that keeps slipping away, the relationships that echo familiar endings, the opportunities that seem perpetually just out of reach, all are fractals born from core assumptions about what you believe possible. Yet this sacred wisdom holds a key. Patterns can be transformed at their source. Like a master weaver adjusting a single thread, you need only shift one fundamental belief to create ripples of change throughout your entire experiential tapestry. The universe in its infinite intelligence, will rewrite all connected patterns to align with your new understanding. A young painter named Sophia discovered this truth when she noticed her canvases always contained the same shapes, despite her conscious attempts at variety. Only when she questioned her basic assumption about what art should look like did her work burst into new forms. The pattern broke not through force, but through awareness and gentle choice. You hold this same power. Each morning brings a fresh opportunity to witness the patterns that shape your days. Look for the echoes, the similar conversations, familiar frustrations, recurring themes. These are not random events, but signposts pointing to beliefs asking to be transformed. Remember the merchant's wisdom. The smallest intentional shift can realign entire systems. When you adjust one belief about your worth, your capability, or what's possible, you initiate a cosmic reweaving. The universe responds by updating all related patterns to match your new frequency. In the hushed space of dawn, a temple keeper demonstrates this principle. She moves a single stone and watches how the morning light creates entirely new shadows across the courtyard. The entire play of light and darkness transforms from one mindful adjustment. The practice of pattern transformation. As the sun rises each day, sit in quiet contemplation. Observe your life's tapestry with gentle awareness. Identify one pattern that repeats, perhaps in your work, relationships, or daily experiences. Place your hand over your heart and speak with quiet authority. I choose the upgraded spiral now. Feel the old pattern dissolving as new possibilities emerge. Let this declaration ripple through the quantum field, rewriting the script of your reality. This ancient practice honors both your power as an observer and your authority as a conscious creator. Through it, you participate in the sacred dance of transformation, allowing fresh patterns to emerge from the infinite field of potential. Chapter 12. Commanding Probability. In a quiet corner of an ancient city, there lived a merchant named Khalil, who made his fortune through games of chance. While others saw only random rolls of dice, Khalil discovered a hidden truth, that his emotional state seemed to dance with probability itself. When his heart was light and expectations serene, fortune smiled upon him. Yet in moments of desperate need or grasping desire, even the simplest wagers turned against him. The universe whispers an essential truth through such experiences. Chance bows to consciousness. What appears as probability is merely the surface ripple of deeper waters, the vast ocean of emotional resonance that underlies all manifestation. Your feelings shape reality more powerfully than any physical force, for they speak directly to the quantum field from which all possibilities emerge. Consider how your own experience confirms this wisdom. Notice how fortune seems to favor you when you remain calm and centered, yet turns fickle when anxiety or attachment cloud your being. This is no coincidence, but rather evidence of an immutable law, that emotional frequency determines which potential outcomes crystallize into experience. The tale is told of a young woman named Maya, who earned her living at games of cards. Unlike most players who tried to calculate odds or read faces, Maya learned to cultivate a state of perfect serenity before each hand. She discovered that peace was more powerful than passion, that gentle acceptance drew better fortune than fierce desire. Her secret was not in forcing outcomes, but in aligning her heart with the natural flow of probability. This story mirrors the deeper truth. that forcing creates resistance while allowing invites grace. When you approach any situation of apparent chance with inner harmony, you naturally attract favorable outcomes. This is not about controlling external events, but about mastering your internal state. The key lies not in intensity of desire, but in quality of presence. Like Maya, you must learn to smooth the waters of your emotions before making choices or seeking outcomes. This creates a resonance that probability itself responds to, like iron filings aligning with a magnetic field. To practice this ancient art, before any decision or moment of chance, pause and center yourself in serenity. Release all desperate need for specific outcomes. Take 3 slow breaths while silently saying, "I harmonize with the ideal outcome." Feel yourself merging with the quantum field of pure potential, knowing that your emotional tone is already attracting the highest possibility. This practice aligns you with the mathematics of manifestation, where peace creates prosperity and acceptance guides synchronicity. Chapter 13. Symbols that Speak. A traveler once discovered a golden feather upon his path just before receiving life-changing news. In another land, a merchant found circular patterns appearing in her morning tea leaves preceding moments of profound insight. These were not mere coincidences, but whispers from the infinite intelligence that orchestrates your reality. Like them, you too are surrounded by a living language of symbols, sacred signatures woven into the fabric of your daily experience. The universe speaks not only through events and circumstances, but through an intricate dance of signs and tokens uniquely meaningful to you. What appears as random placement is, in truth, a deliberate conversation. When you begin to recognize this subtle dialogue, you discover that reality has been offering guidance through a personalized dictionary of meaning. That recurring number sequence is not coincidence. The bird that appears at crucial moments is not chance. The geometric patterns that catch your eye carry messages meant precisely for your understanding. These symbols serve as tuning forks, aligning your frequency with specific possibilities. A feather floating across your path may resonate with freedom, signaling the perfect moment to release old constraints. A spiral showing up repeatedly could be activating the energy of expansion in your field. The key lies not in universal meanings, but in your personal relationship with each symbol. This is the ancient art of reading reality's signs, not through superstition or rigid interpretation, but through conscious collaboration with the field of infinite intelligence. Your inner knowing recognizes these symbols instantly, for they are part of your soul's native tongue. Begin to notice which symbols appear during significant transitions or before important insights. Keep track of the feelings and situations they herald. You are learning to read the intimate alphabet through which the universe guides your journey. Some symbols may trigger states of deep peace, while others spark creativity or courage. This is not imagination, but rather your conscious participation in reality's unfolding. The field speaks to each being through imagery that resonates with their unique energy signature. By acknowledging and working with these personal symbols, you strengthen your partnership with the intelligent universe. You become fluent in its subtle language, able to recognize guidance and alignment in every detail of your experience. The practice. Each evening, in the glow of your quiet ritual space, record the symbols that spoke to you, feel their wisdom settle in your heart, and affirm, I am, attuned to the wisdom in every symbol. The universe guides me through this sacred language. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Law of Overlap. In an ancient mountain monastery, a young monk spent years tending gardens while yearning to study sacred texts. Each day as he pulled weeds, his heart ached for the library where elder monks gathered in contemplation. Until one morning, a wise teacher shared a secret that changed everything. The garden and the library exist in the same space. Your attention chooses which becomes real. Like that monk, you stand at the intersection of multiple realities. What appears as conflict between dreams and obligations is truly an invitation to master the art of parallel existence. The universe does not demand choosing between worlds. It offers the power to inhabit the reality that best serves your highest purpose. When you feel torn between what must be done and what calls to your soul, remember, these are not opposing forces but overlapping dimensions. Your focus is the lens that brings one world into sharp relief while others fade temporarily to shadow. This is not escapism, but the sacred science of reality selection. The physical world you perceive is one of countless versions floating in the quantum field. Each possible reality exists simultaneously, like transparent slides stacked upon each other. Your emotional attention determines which slide moves to the foreground of your experience. To shift between realities requires more than mere visualization. It demands the art of emotional inhabitation. You must feel the texture of your chosen reality with such conviction that your entire being resonates with its frequency. This is not pretending or positive thinking, but quantum navigation. When you emotionally pre-live your preferred reality, feeling its details, breathing its atmosphere, letting its essence fill your cells, you transmit a clear signal to the field. The universe responds by materializing the matching frequency in your physical experience. This practice reveals that your current circumstances are not solid walls, but temporary projections. With focused feeling, you can step between parallel possibilities as easily as moving from shadow into sunlight. The key lies not in forcing change through action, but in shifting your point of perception through sustained emotional alignment. Consider how a radio receives the station matching its tuned frequency while other broadcasts play simultaneously. Your consciousness operates similarly, tuning to specific reality frequencies through feeling and focus. All possible versions of your life broadcast continuously. Your emotional state determines which you receive clearly. The practice. Each morning, close your eyes and feel reality soften into possibility, then step with calm gratitude into your chosen world, affirming, I inhabit the reality that serves my highest good. All is well in my chosen world. Chapter 15. The Paradox Principle. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Malik sought desperately to sell his finest silks. Day after day, he would chase potential customers, his anxious energy driving them away. Across the street, an old weaver displayed her cloths without urgency, smiling peacefully whether people bought or merely browsed. To Malik's amazement, her goods seemed to sell themselves. The universe responds not to the force of your desires, but to the frequency of your being. When you grasp too tightly at what you want, you create resistance in the very field meant to deliver it. Yet completely abandoning your desires serves you no better. For desire itself is the sacred fuel of creation. The art lies in maintaining perfect tension between intention and surrender. Think of a master archer drawing their bow. Too much tension snaps the string, too little fails to propel the arrow. The sweet spot exists in that space between forcing and forgetting. Your desires are meant to guide you, not consume you. They are the universe's way of speaking through you, showing you possibilities that align with your highest path. But attachment to specific outcomes creates energetic interference, like static disrupting a clear signal. When you insist that manifestation must arrive in a particular form or time frame, you inadvertently block countless channels through which abundance could flow. The universe often has grander plans than your limited perspective can imagine. Your role is to hold the essence of what you desire while remaining open to infinite possibilities of its delivery. This balance point between desire and detachment may seem paradoxical, yet it mirrors nature itself. Consider how a flower turns toward the sun yet does not strain to reach it. The flower maintains its intention through natural alignment while surrendering to the process of growth. You too can learn this sacred dance. Begin by feeling fully what you wish to create. Let yourself experience the joy, the fulfillment, the completion of your desire. Then, instead of clutching this feeling, allow it to float freely in your field. Trust that what is truly meant for you cannot miss you. This practice of intentional surrender creates space for magic to enter. When you release your grip on outcomes while maintaining clarity of intention, you enter a state of graceful attraction. Like the old weaver in the marketplace, your energy becomes magnetic rather than desperate. The universe delights in surprising you with gifts beyond your imagination. Often, when you surrender your timeline and your specific vision, something even more magnificent manifests. Your willingness to release control becomes the very key that unlocks unlimited possibility. Ruby's practice. Each evening, sit quietly and feel your desire as if already fulfilled. Experience every detail, the emotions, the sensations, the reality of it. Then, with a gentle smile, open your hands and release it completely to the universe, saying, "I allow this or something even better." Let peace fill the space where attachment once lived, knowing that what is truly yours will find its way home. Chapter 16. The Multiverse Within. In the silence before dawn, a merchant named Rashid dreamed of himself as a master musician, though he had never touched an instrument. Upon waking, his fingers moved with surprising skill across his wife's old lute. The music that emerged felt both foreign and deeply familiar, as if remembered rather than learned. You stand at the threshold of one of existence's most remarkable secrets. Consciousness knows no bounds. What you perceive as imagination often serves as a bridge to wisdom already possessed by other versions of yourself across the infinite web of possibility. When you close your eyes at night, your awareness isn't confined to this single timeline. Like water flowing between vessels, your consciousness travels through dimensional gates, accessing knowledge and abilities from parallel existences, where you made different choices and developed different skills. These alternate selves are not mere fantasies. They are real versions of you, existing simultaneously in quantum reality. Each carries unique wisdom, mastery, and understanding. Through the portal of sleep, you can commune with these aspects of yourself, absorbing their knowledge and accelerating your growth. Your dreams often serve as classrooms where these parallel selves become your teachers. That moment of inexplicable knowing, that sudden skill that seems to arise from nowhere. These are gifts from other iterations of your being, sharing their mastery across the quantum field. Think of consciousness as light passing through a prism, splitting into countless beams. Each beam represents a different version of you, exploring unique potentials. In sleep, these beams can reconverge, allowing information to flow between them. This is why you sometimes wake with solutions to problems you never consciously solved, or abilities you don't remember learning. The practice of intentional quantum learning requires only your willingness to receive. As you drift toward sleep, acknowledge that your consciousness is about to journey beyond this single timeline. Release the assumption that learning must be linear or that skills can only be acquired through traditional means. A simple carpenter named Zhang discovered this truth when he began dreaming of himself as a master craftsman in another life. Each morning, he found his hands moving with increased precision, guided by knowledge he had accessed while sleeping. His work transformed from mundane to extraordinary, infused with techniques he had never been taught in this timeline. The key lies not in forcing these connections, but in allowing them to manifest naturally through intention and receptivity. Your parallel selves are not distant strangers, but aspects of your own expanded being, eager to share their wisdom when invited. Before surrendering to sleep each night, Zhang would silently affirm, "Tonight, I learn from my highest parallel self." Upon waking, he immediately recorded any insights, skills, or knowledge that had transferred through the quantum gates of dreaming. Over time, this practice transformed not only his craftsmanship, but his understanding of reality itself. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep, sit quietly and speak these words with clear intention. Tonight I learn from my highest parallel self. Keep a journal by your bedside. Upon waking, immediately record any insights, skills, or knowledge that emerged during your quantum journey. Trust that the wisdom of your parallel selves flows freely when invited with sincere openness. Chapter 17. The Signature Frequency. In a bustling marketplace, an old sage watched people pass, each radiating an invisible light. "Listen," he whispered to no one in particular. "Every soul sings its own song. You possess an innate ability to perceive the subtle vibrations emanating from those around you. Like instruments in a vast orchestra, each person resonates with a unique frequency, their soul's signature melody that shapes the collective harmony of existence. This sacred knowledge unveils itself through Penny's journey. Working at a company plagued by discord, she began noticing how each colleague carried a distinct, energetic tone. The analytical manager resonated with sharp, precise notes, while the creative designer flowed with fluid, dynamic rhythms. Their conflicts arose not from incompatibility, but from playing their songs in isolation. Understanding dawned. Reality responds not just to individual frequencies, but to the harmonies created when souls align. Like musicians finding rhythm together, people naturally coordinate when their energetic melodies complement each other. This alignment manifests as synchronized events, effortless cooperation, and natural flow in shared endeavors. Penny discovered that by consciously attuning her own emotional frequency, adjusting her inner song through intention, she could influence the collective harmony. Before difficult meetings, she would center herself in joy, allowing her peaceful vibration to ripple outward. Gradually, she noticed how others unconsciously matched this resonance, transforming tense gatherings into productive collaborations. The universe operates through vibrational sympathy. When you enter any space, your energetic signature either enhances or disrupts existing harmonies. By mindfully cultivating your inner tone, you become a tuning fork for positive collective experience. A young musician named Thomas experienced this truth when performing with an orchestra. Rather than forcing his instrument to dominate, he learned to feel the collective pulse, letting his notes weave seamlessly with others. The music transcended individual talent, becoming a unified force that moved audiences to tears. This principle extends beyond music into every interaction. Each conversation, meeting, or gathering represents an opportunity to contribute to life's grand symphony. Your emotional state is not merely personal. It helps compose the soundtrack of shared reality. Penny's practice grew more refined with time. She recognized how certain emotional frequencies invited specific types of experiences. Joy attracted celebration, peace drew understanding, and love fostered connection. By consciously choosing her vibrational offering, she could help orchestrate more harmonious outcomes for all involved. Ancient wisdom reveals that group consciousness creates more powerful effects than individual intention. When multiple souls align their songs in common purpose, reality itself responds with enhanced synchronicity and grace. Sacred practice. Before entering any gathering, take a moment to attune yourself. Find your inner note of joy, that pure, resonant feeling of well-being. Let it fill your being until you naturally hum with this frequency. As you join others, maintain awareness of this harmonious vibration, allowing it to blend with and elevate the collective field. Trust that your conscious contribution to the symphony helps create more beautiful music for all. Chapter 18. Light Codes of Imagination. In the ancient marketplace of Alexandria, a humble artist named Gideon spent his days mixing vibrant pigments and applying them to canvas with meditative care. As his brush danced across the surface, he noticed something extraordinary. The colors he painted began appearing in the dreams of those around him. It began with his sister, who described waking from a dream filled with swirling indigo and gold, the very hues he had worked with the previous day. Soon after, a merchant spoke of dreaming in precise shades of crimson and emerald that matched Gideon's latest creation. What started as coincidence revealed itself as connection. The universe whispers an eternal truth. Every thought, every creative impulse radiates outward as pure energy. Your consciousness does not end at the boundary of your form. It extends into the fabric of reality itself, coloring the perceptions of all it touches. Just as light carries information across vast distances, your imaginings travel through the subtle fields that connect all minds. When you create, You are not merely making marks upon the physical world. You are broadcasting patterns of energy that ripple through the collective consciousness. These patterns carry your signature frequency, touching others through channels beyond ordinary sight. The colors you envision, the feelings you embed within them, become threads in the tapestry of shared experience. This is why masters of old spoke of responsibility in creation. Each thought you release carries power to shape the dreams and perceptions of those within your sphere. Like a stone cast into still waters, your creative energy generates waves that influence the shores of other minds. A traveler named Omar encountered this truth when he stopped at an oasis. There he met an elder who painted with light rather than pigment, using only his focused intention. Those who sat with the elder reported seeing colors dance in their meditation, precise hues that matched his visualizations. Through practice, he had learned to transmit pure chromatic energy directly from mind to mind. This ancient wisdom reveals that imagination is not mere fantasy. It is a potent force for molding the subtle substance of reality. When you create with conscious intention, you participate in shaping the collective field of human perception. Your thoughts become brushstrokes upon the canvas of shared consciousness. Sacred practice. Each morning, place your hand over your heart and send forth radiant streams of colored light, gold for joy, green for healing, violet for transformation, knowing every thought you release beautifies the shared dream of our world. Chapter 19. Gravity of Emotion. In a bustling market square, Nora Fay stood behind her flower stall, scowling at the overcast sky. With each frustrated sigh, she noticed customers veering away, their faces mirroring her discontent. That evening, as rain pounded against her windows, she realized her day had grown progressively heavier, matching her darkening mood. The universe operates through invisible fields of resonance. Your emotional state acts as a gravitational force, drawing experiences that match its frequency. This is not metaphor, but metaphysical law, as real as the force that holds planets in orbit. When Nora Fay discovered this truth, she began watching how her inner weather shaped outer circumstances. On days when anger clouded her heart, simple tasks became arduous. Strangers bumped into her, merchants shortchanged her, and even her beloved roses seemed to wilt beneath her gaze. Yet one morning, while watching children play in the square, unexpected laughter bubbled up within her. To her amazement, the entire day shifted. Customers smiled warmly, coins appeared on her path, and her flowers bloomed with unusual vigor. She had stumbled upon the sacred science of emotional gravity. This principle reveals itself in the tale of a desert mystic who lived in complete joy. Though his tent stood in barren lands, travelers reported finding an oasis of abundance around him, as if his sustained happiness had altered the very fabric of reality in his vicinity. Your feelings create actual force fields that bend the trajectory of events. Like invisible hands, they shape the substance of experience, molding circumstances to match their vibration. When you understand this, you realize that managing your emotional state is not merely about personal comfort. It is about consciously directing the course of your reality. Think of your heart as a quantum compass, its needle moved by feeling rather than magnetism. The direction it points determines which parallel reality you walk into. Anger attracts scenes that justify its existence. Joy magnetizes moments that amplify its presence. Through this lens, laughter becomes a spiritual practice, not as escape, but as conscious reality crafting. Each genuine smile sends ripples through the quantum field, creating wavelengths that reality must match. Your delight becomes a sculptor's tool, carving more graceful paths through the infinite possibilities before you. Sacred practice. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and let laughter rise until it ripples through the light around you, reshaping your universe with joy as the first current guiding your day. Chapter 20. The Invisible Bridge. In the remote mountains, a wise hermit once told of a young merchant named Khalil who made his living crossing the great desert with rare spices. Each journey required him to traverse a particular canyon where a narrow bridge spanned the depths. One day, arriving at the canyon's edge, he found the bridge had vanished entirely, yet his livelihood depended on reaching the other side before nightfall. As Khalil stood at the precipice, an old woman appeared beside him. "The bridge exists in your next step," she said, "but only in your next step." When Khalil protested that he saw no bridge at all, she replied, "That is because you seek to see the entire path before taking the first step. The universe does not work this way." With trembling faith, Khalil placed his foot forward into empty air and found solid ground. With each subsequent step, a new piece of bridge materialized exactly where and when his foot needed it. He crossed the entire canyon this way, the bridge existing only in the present moment of each step. This ancient wisdom illuminates a fundamental truth about reality's nature. Transition states require a special form of trust. When you stand between what was and what will be, the mind desperately seeks solid ground. Yet the universe operates through quantum steps, each moment creating the next only as you move into it. Consider how often life places you at similar crossroads. The old situation dissolves while the new one hasn't fully materialized. These apparent voids between realities trigger our deepest fears, yet they are actually doorways of pure potential. The key lies not in knowing the entire path, but in trusting the next step will support you. Just as Khalil discovered, the bridge forms beneath your feet through the very act of moving forward. This is not blind faith, but rather alignment with how reality actually functions. Quantum physics reveals that particles exist in multiple potential states until observed. Similarly, your next life chapter exists in potential form until you step toward it. Picture a second merchant who, facing the same canyon, refused to move without seeing the entire bridge first. He remains there still, forever caught between realities. This represents those who wait for complete certainty before embracing transition. But certainty never precedes emergence. It follows it. The merchant Omar once faced a similar void when his trading route became obsolete. Rather than clinging to the familiar path, he recognized the dissolving of the old as a sign to trust in the new. Without knowing his next venture, he maintained inner stability through the transition. Soon, unexpected opportunities arose that he could never have foreseen from his previous position. When you find yourself suspended between realities, remember, the universe builds bridges beneath those willing to take faithful steps. Your movement activates the materializing force. The path appears not in spite of uncertainty, but through your willingness to embrace it. Practice. Each evening, picture yourself stepping into the unknown, whispering, Each step sustains itself, and trust the present ground beneath you as new paths form effortlessly with every courageous move forward. Part 3. Mastery of the Hidden Mechanics. Chapter 21. Silent Commands. In a bustling marketplace, a woman watched as merchants haggled over prices, voices rising and falling like waves. While others shouted their desires, she remained quiet, yet the fruits she wished for rolled mysteriously toward her feet. What others fought to obtain through loud declarations, she drew forth through silent intention. The wisdom unveiled through her experience speaks to a deeper truth. The universe responds not to our words, but to the silent commands we issue from within. Just as a flower needs no voice to summon the sun's warmth, your innermost intentions shape reality without sound. When you strip away the verbal layer of creation, you access a more refined frequency of manifestation. Words can sometimes interfere with pure intention, adding static to the signal. The most potent form of reality shaping occurs in that sacred space before language takes form. Think of how a master conductor shapes music with the slightest gesture, requiring no explanation. Your consciousness possesses this same capacity for wordless direction. Every thought radiates as pure energy, instantly recognized by the quantum field that surrounds you. A traveler named Sadie discovered this truth quite by accident. Walking through her daily life, she noticed that events began aligning with her thoughts before she could even form them into words. A need for shelter would bring an awning into view moments before rain. A wish for guidance would manifest as a meaningful sign appearing in her path. At first, she dismissed these as mere coincidence, but as she paid closer attention, she realized that reality was responding to her internal state with increasing precision. The less she verbalized her intentions, the more swiftly they manifested. This revelation transformed her understanding of manifestation. She learned that the universe reads energy, not language. When she silently projected appreciation toward a withering plant, it began to flourish. When she mentally extended warmth toward a stranger's cold demeanor, their frost would melt into unexpected kindness. The practice of silent blessing became her way of proving this principle. Without uttering a word, she would direct pure positive intention toward those she encountered. A silent wish for joy sent to a downcast stranger would often result in their spontaneous smile. A wordless blessing of peace projected toward an argument would mysteriously calm the tensions. This mirrors the ancient teaching that true power moves in silence. Just as the moon needs no voice to lift the tides, your consciousness shapes circumstance through silent resonance. The universe responds not to the volume of your request, but to the clarity of your inner signal. Practice. Each day, choose 3 strangers to receive your silent blessings. Without words, project pure positive intention toward them. Observe how the energy of your silent command creates subtle shifts in their demeanor or circumstance. Notice how this wordless transmission often manifests more swiftly than verbal requests. Through this practice, you strengthen your ability to shape reality through pure consciousness, transcending the need for spoken instruction. Chapter 22. Transmutation through Paradox. In the depths of an ancient valley, a merchant named Yusuf carried 2 heavy jugs, one filled with oil, the other with water. Though the substances could never mix, together they sustained his village. The wisdom of carrying both would soon illuminate a universal truth. Your journey through consciousness reveals that opposing forces need not battle for supremacy. Within you exist countless dualities: ambition and peace, action and stillness, material desires and spiritual calling. The untrained mind sees these as conflicts to be resolved through elimination of one side. Yet in this perception lies a fundamental misunderstanding of the universe's creative process. Consider how the tension between earth and sky creates the space where life flourishes, how the interplay of light and shadow gives depth to vision, how the dance between silence and sound births music. These apparent opposites do not diminish each other. Their interaction generates the energy that propels evolution. When you resist the natural contrast within your desires, you create unnecessary struggle. The merchant carrying both oil and water did not curse either substance for being what it was. He recognized that their differences made them valuable. Similarly, your conflicting wishes each carry unique gifts. Your desire for success may seem to war with your longing for simplicity. Your call to adventure may appear to oppose your need for security. Yet these tensions, when properly understood, become the fertile soil from which new possibilities emerge. Like the positive and negative charges that generate electricity, opposing forces in consciousness create the current of transformation. The key lies not in resolving conflict through elimination, but in holding space for creative tension. When you embrace both sides of your nature, you tap into the same generative power that causes seeds to burst into plants and stars to birth galaxies. The friction between opposing desires generates heat, not to destroy, but to foster new life. The universe itself expands through the interplay of forces that seem to contradict. Gravity pulls inward while dark energy pushes outward. Neither force is wrong. Their eternal dance shapes the cosmos. Your consciousness operates on similar principles. The tensions you feel are not problems to solve, but energy to harness. When you find yourself torn between competing desires, resist the urge to immediately resolve the conflict. Instead, breathe into the space between them. Feel how their interaction energizes and expands your field of possibility. Let their friction kindle the flame of creativity. Ancient practice. When opposing desires surface, hold them gently in your awareness and affirm, "Everything in me works for my good," trusting the universe to weave their contrast into a creation of perfect harmony. Chapter 23. The Dream Architect. In the depths of an ancient temple, a wise woman named Amara spent her nights in meditation, discovering that her dreams held more than mere fantasy. They were blueprints of tomorrow. Each evening she would light a single candle and watch as its flame danced shadows on the temple walls, understanding that, like these shadows, her dreams cast patterns into the waking world. The wisdom of the ages reveals that your nightly ventures into sleep are far more than rest. They are sacred workshops where reality's clay is most malleable. In the realm of dreams, you stand closest to the source of creation, where thought and form intertwine without resistance. Here, in these twilight hours, your consciousness moves unfettered by physical laws, free to shape the ethereal substance from which tomorrow's experiences emerge. Your dreams serve as a proving ground, where desired realities can be tested, refined, and anchored into the physical world. Each night, presents an opportunity to experiment with different possibilities, to feel their resonance, and to choose which versions to manifest. When you dream consciously, you enter the universe's planning room, where probability waves still float free, waiting to be collapsed into experience by your attention. Time flows differently in dreams. Future, past, and present merge into a singular point of power. Here, you can visit potential outcomes, sample their energetic signatures, and select the most harmonious path. Through this nocturnal practice, you learn to recognize the subtle frequencies of manifestation before they solidify into physical events. A merchant named Karim discovered this truth when he began treating his dreams as rehearsals for future success. In his dreams, he would walk through prosperous marketplaces, feeling the weight of abundant transactions in his hands. Soon, his waking reality began mirroring these dream experiences, as if the nocturnal practice had laid invisible tracks for physical events to follow. The essential understanding is this: dreams are not separate from reality. They are reality in its most fluid state. When you enter sleep with conscious intention, you step into creation's laboratory, where the boundaries between thought and matter dissolve. Here, your deepest wisdom can speak clearly, unfiltered by daytime doubts. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep, create a serene space in your mind. Lie quietly and declare with gentle certainty, "Tonight I construct grace." Allow this intention to accompany you into dreams, knowing that each vision plants seeds in tomorrow's garden. Upon waking, observe the subtle ways your dream construction manifests in daily experience, understanding that night and day are two hands weaving the same tapestry of creation. Chapter 24. The Equation of Ease. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Vernon struggled daily to increase his profits. Each morning, he would grip his ledger with white knuckles, scrutinizing every detail and forcing strategies into place. Yet the harder he pushed, the more his desired outcomes seemed to slip away like water through clenched fingers. One day, an elderly tea merchant noticed Vernon's furrowed brow and offered him a steaming cup. "The leaves know when to release their essence," the old man said softly. "Push too hard, and the tea turns bitter. Allow them to unfurl naturally, and they yield their sweetest flavors." The universe operates through this same principle of graceful surrender. When you strain against life's current, you create resistance that blocks the natural flow of manifestation. This truth remains hidden from those who believe achievement requires constant struggle, yet it stands as one of the most powerful laws governing reality's response to consciousness. Consider how water shapes stone not through force, but through gentle persistence. Your intentions work similarly. They reach their fullest expression not through rigid demand, but through fluid allowance. When you release the grip of anxious control, you open channels through which the universe can deliver your desires with elegant efficiency. In the quiet hours of dawn, a young woman named Maya discovered this truth while tending her garden. For weeks, she had obsessively monitored her seedlings, adjusting and readjusting their position, checking the soil countless times each day. Her plants remained small and weak. Then illness confined her to bed for several days, forcing her to surrender her constant vigilance. When she finally returned to her garden, she found her plants had flourished in her absence. The teaching crystallizes through Maya's experience. Nature, and by extension, all of reality, knows how to fulfill its purpose when we step back and allow it to operate unimpeded. Your role is not to force outcomes through sheer will, but to set clear intentions and then trust the universe's inherent intelligence to arrange the details. This wisdom transforms how you engage with manifestation. Rather than pushing against what is, you learn to soften into what wants to emerge. Instead of gripping tightly to specific outcomes, you hold your desires with gentle awareness, allowing them space to materialize in their own perfect timing. The practice of sacred ease. Each morning, as light returns, ask gently, "Where can I soften?" and feel tension melt into ease, aligning you with the effortless flow through which life fulfills every true desire. Chapter 25. Mind-Made Matter. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Vernon struggled daily to increase his profits. Each morning, he would grip his ledger with white knuckles, scrutinizing every detail and forcing strategies into place. Yet the harder he pushed, the more his desired outcomes seemed to slip away like water through clenched fingers. When you strain against life's current, you create resistance that blocks the natural flow of manifestation. This truth remains hidden from those who believe achievement requires constant struggle. The ancient masters understood that the greatest power lies in the gentlest touch, the softest breath, the lightest intention. Vernon discovered this wisdom through an unexpected teacher, an elderly tea merchant who noticed his furrowed brow and offered him a steaming cup. "The leaves know when to release their essence," the old man shared. "Push too hard, and the tea turns bitter. Allow them to unfurl naturally, and they yield their sweetest flavors." This simple lesson carried profound implications. The universe responds not to force, but to invitation. When you release the grip of anxiety and allow your desires to unfold with grace, you align with the natural rhythm of creation. Tension compresses potential. Ease expands it. Consider the flow of a river. It does not struggle to reach the ocean, yet arrives without fail. It moves around obstacles rather than fighting them, finding the path of least resistance. This is the equation of ease. The less you strain, the more power flows through you. A wandering musician taught Vernon this truth through song. Playing his instrument with rigid determination produced harsh notes, but when he relaxed his grip and allowed the music to flow through him, the marketplace filled with melodies that drew crowds and coins in equal measure. The wisdom lies not in abandoning action, but in releasing the strain that accompanies it. Your desires manifest most readily when held in open palms rather than clenched fists. This is the paradox of creation. Effort without struggle, intention without tension. Each morning, Vernon began asking himself, "Where can I soften?" He discovered that this simple question dissolved invisible barriers and opened pathways previously hidden. His business flourished not through increased effort, but through decreased resistance. Your practice lies in this gentle inquiry. Before each endeavor, pause to release unnecessary tension. Ask yourself, "Where can I soften?" Let this question guide you toward effortless achievement. Feel the ease flowing through your being, knowing that relaxation accelerates manifestation. Remember, the universe responds not to force, but to invitation. When you release the grip of anxiety and allow your desires to unfold with grace, you align with the natural rhythm of creation, like leaves surrendering their essence to water. Let your intentions dissolve into the field of infinite possibility. Each morning, Vernon asks, "Where can I soften?" letting release summon resolution. Through this practice, he discovered that ease is not the absence of action, but its highest expression. Chapter 26. Frequency Doors. In the corner of her sunlit room, Harper sat cross-legged on a hand-woven mat. As the gentle notes of a classical piece drifted through the air, something extraordinary unfolded. The music seemed to part reality like a curtain, revealing glimpses of other lives, other possibilities, all existing simultaneously. Through the ethereal melody, she witnessed herself in a garden she had never planted, yet somehow recognized. In another flash, she stood before an audience, sharing wisdom she had not yet acquired in this timeline. Each musical phrase opened windows into parallel existences, showing her the infinite branches of her own potential. The universe vibrates at countless frequencies, each carrying its own version of reality. Like a radio seeking signals, your consciousness can tune in to these alternate frequencies through the gateway of emotional resonance. Music, being pure vibrational energy, serves as an ideal conductor for this metaphysical journey. When you immerse yourself in sound, you enter a state of heightened receptivity. The frequencies of music interact with your own energetic field, temporarily altering your vibrational signature. This shift allows you to perceive beyond the limitations of your current timeline. Every emotional state broadcasts its own unique frequency. Joy resonates with joyful timelines, peace attracts peaceful outcomes, and inspiration magnetizes inspired realities. By consciously selecting music that carries the emotional signature of your desired experience, you create a bridge to that particular probability stream. A traveling mystic once shared with Harper that ancient temples used specific sound frequencies to facilitate dimensional shifts. The walls between worlds, he explained, become permeable through sound. This wisdom echoed through ages, from Tibetan singing bowls to Aboriginal Dreamtime songs. As Harper explored this phenomenon, she discovered that certain melodies consistently transported her to specific parallel realities. A soaring violin concerto showed her versions where she had mastered creative expression. A rhythmic drum piece revealed timelines of adventure and exploration. The key lies not in the music itself, but in its ability to shift your emotional frequency. When you allow yourself to fully merge with uplifting harmonies, you naturally begin resonating with brighter probability streams. The music becomes a doorway through which consciousness can travel. You need not understand the mechanics of this process to utilize it. Simply choose music that carries the essence of your desired reality. Let the vibrations wash through you, knowing they are recalibrating your energetic signature to match more favorable timelines. Harper found that daily practice strengthened her ability to navigate these musical portals. Each session became an opportunity to sample different probability streams, gathering wisdom and possibilities from parallel versions of herself. She plays one uplifting song daily, visualizing stepping through its sound into brighter timeline. In those moments, as music dissolves the barriers between possibilities, she allows herself to be guided into realities that resonate with her highest aspirations. Chapter 27. Becoming the Field. In the heart of an ancient temple, a wise woman walked silently through dusty corridors, her footsteps echoing against stone walls worn smooth by time. Each morning she would trace the same path, yet this day brought an awakening that would transform her understanding forever. The woman, known to villagers as Millie, had spent years studying sacred texts and practicing esoteric arts. Yet true wisdom emerged not from scholarly pursuit, but from a moment of pure surrender. As she sat in meditation that morning, something extraordinary occurred. The boundary between self and universe dissolved completely. At first, waves of energy rippled through her awareness, each vibration revealing itself as both distinct and inseparable from the whole. Like droplets returning to the ocean, her consciousness expanded beyond the confines of individual identity. In this expanded state, she realized that reality wasn't something to be manipulated or bent. It was her very essence expressing itself through form. The truth dawned with stunning clarity. She had never been separate from the creative force she sought to master. Just as waves arise spontaneously from the ocean's depths, all experience emerged from the infinite field of her own being. There was no doer, no doing, only the eternal dance of consciousness, knowing itself through countless forms. In this recognition, the need to control or manifest fell away. Reality responded not to her will, but to her state of being, for she was reality itself. The power she had sought through practice revealed itself as her natural state, requiring no effort or technique. Like the sun that needs no instruction to shine, her presence naturally organized circumstances according to her essence. Two merchants passing through the temple that day witnessed something remarkable. As Millie sat in silent communion, the air around her seemed to shimmer with golden light. Plants turned toward her as if drawn by an invisible force, and birds gathered nearby, their songs harmonizing in unusual patterns. Yet she remained undisturbed, anchored in the knowledge that she was both the witness and the witnessed, the creator and the creation. The boundaries we perceive between self and world, she realized, are like lines drawn on water, appearing solid, yet dissolving at the slightest touch of wisdom. In this understanding, manifestation becomes effortless, because there is no separation between the intending and the intended. Each evening, as the sun painted the temple walls in amber light, Millie would share this truth with those ready to hear it, not through complex teachings or techniques, but through her simple presence that revealed the unity underlying all existence. The practice. In stillness, breathe and watch all arise and fade within you, repeating softly, "I am that which experiences itself into form," until observer and observed dissolve into one seamless flow of being. Chapter 28. Collapse of the Illusion. In the depths of a mountain sanctuary, where ancient wisdom whispers through weathered stone, a profound truth awaits your discovery. Here, in this sacred space, the veil between worlds grows thin, revealing the extraordinary nature of your own consciousness. Like the morning mist that dances between solid and vapor, your perception shapes the very fabric of existence. You are both the dreamer and the dream, the ocean and its waves, the silence and the song. This understanding dawns not through force or struggle, but through gentle surrender to what has always been true. When you release your grip on what you believe to be real, the universe reveals its fluid nature. Matter itself responds to your inner state, for it is not separate from the awareness that perceives it. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are not merely personal experiences. They are the very threads from which reality is woven. In this moment of recognition, you understand that what appears solid is simply consciousness focused into form. The chair beneath you, the walls around you, the ground beneath your feet, all are agreements in awareness, patterns of energy held in place by collective attention. As this truth settles into your being, you notice how reality becomes more responsive, more alive to your presence. The boundary between imagination and physical experience begins to soften. What you once thought impossible reveals itself as simply unexplored territory within your own infinite nature. This is not a power to be wielded, but a truth to be lived. You are not manipulating external forces, but awakening to your essential nature as the field itself. Every breath draws you deeper into this knowing. Every heartbeat confirms your unity with all that is. In this space of pure potential, manifestation occurs naturally, effortlessly, not as something you do, but as an expression of what you are. The universe mirrors your state of being because it is your being, taking shape in perfect accordance with your deepest awareness. Practice. Each morning, as sunlight touches the world, ask softly, "What dream am I inhabiting?" and feel the universe answer, "Any you choose." For you are the boundless awareness from which all realities arise. Chapter 29. The Keeper of Quiet Power. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a merchant watched in wonder as an old woman's basket overflowed with the freshest fruits, while others struggled to find even bruised ones. Each day, without fail, the finest goods found their way to her. Yet she spoke no words of power, made no grand gestures. The universe responds not to declaration, but to the quiet certainty that resides in your heart. Through millennia, those who truly mastered the laws of creation understood that power grows in silence, like a seed beneath the soil. They walked among others, their miracles disguised as coincidence, their mastery veiled in simplicity. When you grasp this truth, you understand why the greatest manifestations often arrive without fanfare. The universe delights in subtle orchestration, the perfect timing of a chance meeting, the unexpected solution that appears just when needed, the gentle unfolding of desire into form. Consider how nature itself operates. A flower doesn't announce its blooming, yet it transforms from seed to blossom with perfect precision. The moon doesn't proclaim its influence, yet it moves oceans. In this same way, your consciousness shapes reality most powerfully when it operates beneath the surface, free from the need for validation or witness. Each manifestation carries its own signature of energy. When you share your successes prematurely, you release the built-up potential that could have crystallized into even greater manifestations. Like a vessel that holds water, your consciousness contains the energy of creation. Every time you speak of what is forming, tiny droplets escape, diminishing the whole. The field responds most purely to those who understand this law of silence. When you receive a manifestation, let gratitude flow inward rather than outward. Let your appreciation be a private communion between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all things. The practice. Each evening, close your eyes, smile in silent gratitude for the day's manifestations, and rest in the quiet, knowing that true power moves most gracefully when unseen. Chapter 30. The Forbidden Revelation. In the depths of a mountain sanctuary, a humble potter-shaped clay with extraordinary precision. Each vessel seemed to form itself under her gentle touch, as if the clay knew its destiny. Those who watched noticed that she never forced the material, never wrestled with its nature. Instead, her hands moved in perfect harmony with the clay's own inclination. The deepest truth of creation lies not in mastery over matter, but in the intimate dance between consciousness and form. You are not separate from the reality you seek to shape. You are its living expression, its breath, its heartbeat. When you grasp this, the need for techniques and formulas falls away like autumn leaves. The universe does not yield to force but responds to recognition. It mirrors your inner state not because you command it, but because it is you. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture ripples through the fabric of existence because there is no boundary between the thinker and the thought, the dreamer and the dream. Those who strive to manipulate reality through sheer will misunderstand its nature. The potter does not dominate the clay. She communes with it. The painter does not force the colors. She allows them to reveal their inherent harmony. So too must you approach the art of conscious creation. Your power lies not in controlling circumstances, but in remembering your true identity as the awareness through which all circumstances arise. When you rest in this understanding, reality shifts not because you pushed against it, but because you recognized yourself as its source. The mysteries of manifestation resolve themselves when you cease seeking them outside yourself. The ancient teachings whispered of this, that all power flows from the realization of unity. You are not working with universal laws. You are the living embodiment of those laws in motion. Let go of the need to prove your influence over events. True mastery expresses itself in the quiet certainty that all is well, all is one, all is love, reflecting love. The universe responds not to your demands, but to your recognition of its intimate presence as your own being. In the evening stillness, you may practice this sacred remembrance. Find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and feel the pulse of existence beating in your heart. Breathe slowly, and with each breath, dissolve the imagined boundary between inner and outer worlds. Feel how your consciousness and the cosmos are not two separate things, but one movement of life exploring itself through infinite forms. Then, without effort or striving, simply rest in the knowing that you and reality are reciprocal reflections of love, watching as the veil of separation naturally dissolves. This is not a technique to master, but a truth to remember. In this remembrance lies the fulfillment of all seeking, the end of all methods, the revelation that you are the mystery you sought to understand. Practice. Sit in perfect stillness, breathing slowly and deeply. Place one hand over your heart and quietly proclaim within, I and reality are reciprocal reflections of love. Allow this truth to settle into your being as you watch the veil of separation naturally dissolve. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The forbidden revelation isn't forbidden because it's dangerous. It's forbidden because it's too intimate to be casually shared. You've journeyed from seeking to understanding, discovering that reality bends not through manipulation, but through remembering your inseparable unity with existence itself. Every thought you hold becomes a living blueprint in the architecture of being. Your consciousness doesn't merely observe reality, it participates in reality's continuous unfolding. This knowing transforms everything. You are not reaching for power over the universe, but awakening to your nature as the universe experiencing itself through your unique perspective. The final teaching transcends technique. True mastery requires profound gentleness. The field of all possibility responds not to force, but to recognition. Those who truly understand have no need to demonstrate their knowledge. Their lives naturally reflect the harmony of universal law fulfilled. As you integrate these teachings, you'll find the cosmos drawing ever closer, whispering its secrets more clearly. Continue your practice quietly, letting miracles accumulate without fanfare. What began as spiritual experiment resolves into remembered identity. You are the instrument through which the infinite explores its own potential. This knowledge isn't meant to be proclaimed from rooftops, but lived in sacred silence. Like the depth of an ocean that needs no announcement, let your understanding express itself through being rather than telling. You've received these teachings not to become a teacher, but to embody them. The universe hasn't gifted you these insights to collect disciples. It has awakened you to your role as consciousness incarnate. Learn these truths deeply, apply them consistently, and hold them close to your heart. The greatest mysteries are best honored through quiet appreciation rather than public declaration.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.